Hello students, welcome to Unacademy platform. Platform provides daily live classes. There are structured courses. There are live tests, and you have unlimited access on subscription. Okay, you can also download Unacademy Learning app, and there also you get structured courses, live classes, quizzes, and all. Okay, this is about me, and this is my Telegram link. And these are the top educators. So along with me, these top educators are having various courses. You can go and see them. These are different subscription plans. So for example, if you choose I plus, then you will have live classes, test series, unlimited practice, structured schedule. And if you go with iconic, you get live classes, along with the benefits that you get in plus. You have personal coach, daily mains question answer practice, study planner, personalized feedback. Okay, and these are different plans. So different subscription plans. So if you subscribe any plan, if you use this very code, that is Amit PS, you get 10% discount. So similarly here also you have different subscription plans. You can choose according to your requirement. And while going for this kind of subscription, if you apply this very coupon code, that is Amit PS, you get 10% discount. Okay, and these are the different optional subjects that are available on the platform. I'm going to take PSIR. Okay, again, these are the different subscription plans for different duration. You can choose according to your requirement, and while going for any kind of subscription plan, you apply this very code and you will get 10% discount. Okay, coming to our lecture, we started discussing Aristotle, and there I gave you the intro lecture here, and then I started comparing Plato with Aristotle. Okay, so we will continue our lecture. I have explained these 2 points in the previous video, and then we will see further. Okay, now see that we cannot reject the knowledge that we acquire from the world of senses. This is coming from uh, Aristotle. Okay, Aristotle, because he is a realist. And in the previous video, I told you that realists are one who are not going to deny the significance of matter. Okay, so the realists that we have may differ when it comes to their belief or their perception regarding the reality of the ideas. Okay, so one may accord the equal importance to idea as they accord to matter. Others might not accord equal importance to idea, or for them, idea may not be something which is to be taken into account or which is real. Okay, so there can be realists who are going to give or who are going to accord importance only to the matter. Okay, but one thing that is common, I told you in the previous video also, among all the realists, that they are not going to deny the significance of matter. Okay, so Aristotle is one among them, and that is why in the previous video also I told you that for Aristotle it is the idea which is real, and the things which are visible in this very sensory world are not real. Okay, they are just appearances. So the things that we see, feel, touch, okay, the things that we can sense are actually just the appearances for Plato. Okay, he is an idealist. Okay, so he is going to accord importance to the ideas alone. For Aristotle, he says that idea as well as matter, both are true. Okay, both exist in real sense simultaneously. Not only that, he says that idea does not exist without matter. According to Aristotle's theory of ideas, okay, idea is inherent in matter. So you cannot separate idea from matter. So in Aristotle's scheme, the idea of horse and horse exist together. Okay, more precisely, the idea of horse exists or resides in horse itself. Okay, so the idea resides in the matter. Idea is inherent in matter. So in that sense, idea of horse is inherently found in the inherently present in horse. Idea of horse is inherently present in horse. Okay, that is something that Aristotle would propose. Aristotle's greatest complaint against Plato was, see, understand here, that he made a departure from experience. Okay, realist as Aristotle he is going to accord importance. He's going to give importance to the experiences. Okay, and for Plato, if you recall, the word where we experience things, where we sense things, okay, that is a visible word. Plato calls it to be the shadow of the real world, which is ideas, that the world where we cannot actually experience anything. Okay, so Aristotle's complaint is this, that Plato is completely negating the relevance of experience that we have in this very visual world or sensory world. Okay, and that is precisely what Plato was doing, if you recall. That he is, for him, this very visible world, this very sensory world, this world of matter is just the shadow. Okay, it is just the appearance of the shadow of the ideal world, that is the world of ideas. And because of that, Aristotle is opposing or negating Plato and complaining against him, because here it is simply a departure from the experience. Okay. Then Aristotle accepted Plato's work to be brilliant. Okay. He's saying, okay, he's actually accepting them to be brilliant and suggestive, but at the same time radical and speculative. Okay. Radical means extreme. Okay, if something is radical, if something is radical, then it is not balanced. Okay, and if something is extreme, it is more likely um, to be untrue, or it is more likely to be far from truth. And what is the meaning of speculative? Speculative, or if something or some proposition is speculative, then it is not based on facts. Okay, it is not based on any practical experience. That is why Aristotle is saying that Plato's work is all the brilliant and suggestive, but it is radical, that is very extreme, and speculative, that is it is not based on facts, or it does not have any practical relevance. Okay, that is what we mean by speculative. So there is a difference between analysis and speculation. Okay, Aristotle does not adopt any extreme step for attaining the ideal. Okay, Aristotle is going to suggest something which exists in the realm of mean averages. Okay, he does not adopt the extreme approach. So in that sense, his mind is tempered by this very rule that we also known as golden rule of mean. Okay, so you will always find Aristotle in the middle of two extremes, and he is very cautious in adopting that position. Okay, in maintaining that very position of golden mean. According to him, golden mean is the golden rule. Okay, so according to him, golden mean is the golden rule. See, in order to understand this very thing, you can use this very thing in GS paper 4 also. One example of golden mean is that, for example, if you consider the virtues or qualities of being courageous, foolhardy, and coward, then you can have a spectrum here. And in the lower extreme, you have cowardice, and in the other end of the spectrum, you have foolhardiness. Okay, so foolhardiness, cowardice, you already know. To what is the meaning of being coward, and what is the meaning of being foolhardiness? What is the meaning of adopting foolhardiness? Foolhardiness means what? You are not caring, or you do not care. You care the least about the consequences of your action. Okay, so if someone says that you are scared of a lion, you just start fighting the lion. Okay, so that is not bravery, that is not courage. Fighting the lion is not the courage. Okay, fighting tiger, which is 4 times more than that of your weight. Okay, tiger's weight is approximately 300 kg. A Bengal tiger is more than 250 kg. So if you're fighting a tiger, that is not the courage, that is not bravery. Tiger or lion, they are wild animals. Okay, they are born. Nature has shaped them to kill. Okay, to feed on their prey. So you will become a prey of a tiger or a lion. And if you are fighting with lion or tiger just because someone says that you are scared, that is not the bravery. That is not courage. Okay, so in one end of the spectrum, you have cowardice here. At the other end, you have foolhardiness, and the golden mean is found to be here, where you can say that you have bravery or courage. Getting it? So this is the golden mean. Getting it? So that kind of golden mean Aristotle is referring to. And this is the approach that is going to be present in all the theories of Aristotle. He is not going to adopt either extremes. Okay, whether it be lowest or the top, the extreme which is at the other end of the spectrum. Now understand, it is for this reason it is said that Plato is an idealist while Aristotle is a realist or pragmatist. Okay, so now I think this is clear. Plato sees perfection while Aristotle suggests moderation. See, this very emphasis of Aristotle on golden mean, it shows something about him. Okay, it shows that he is going to be in the middle of two extremes, and that is why we are saying that he is going to adopt moderation in his approach. He is going to adopt moderation in his approach because he advocates for golden mean. Okay, for him the golden mean is the golden rule. Golden rule means a rule, a method which is to be followed every time. Now understand this very thing, Aristotle's theory of state. Okay, it will require your full attention. Now, Plato and Aristotle both consider polis. Polis means a city-state. Not just a state, but various other things like government, school, community, also religion. Okay, see these thinkers, both Aristotle and Plato, are going to give or going to accord very much importance to the city-state. Okay, so for both of them, state as an institution. Okay, state as an institution is going to be very important. Again, recall that if we leave aside the debate whether the theory of Plato is really pragmatic or not, one cannot deny his conviction regarding the importance of his state. Okay, the establishment of an ideal state. Okay, that shows his conviction for the very institution of state. Okay, the same kind of conviction is to be found in Aristotle also. So he's going to accord the importance. He's going to accord state the kind of importance that you find in Plato. Although the details, the description here regarding state are going to be different. Okay. Again, because he is someone who is not going to be talking in terms of extremes. He is going to adopt the moderate approach. Okay. Golden mean. Okay. The approach of golden mean. Both regard polis as a means for attaining complete life. Yes, because Plato also, if you recall, his purpose or his intention behind establishing the ideal state is what? Establishment of justice in the society. So justice, if you recall, is the very objective of ideal state. And what is the meaning of justice in Plato's scheme? It meant proper stationing and non-interference. And both together meant that individuals are going to realize their potential to its fullest extent or fullest possible extent. Not only that, they are going to realize that very potential in the field or in arena where they are predisposed or they have this very innate ability to progress in that very field. And you can also recall that Plato ensures that individual is going to achieve excellence in the arena or in the job where he is best fitted by the nature itself. Okay, and that is why we are saying that any individual, if he is predisposed to any particular work, any particular job in any particular arena, Plato ensures that that individual gets the proper congenial atmosphere and environment to develop his faculties okay, to its fullest potential. So that is what we are saying, or we are referring to the complete life. So in Plato's scheme also, you find a very descriptive mechanism to ensure the complete life for the individuals. And for Aristotle, state is the institution which is going to ensure the complete life to individuals. No other institution, be it family, village, community, anything below a state is not going to give or is not going to ensure the complete life for the individual. Okay, so it is ultimately the state, according to Aristotle and also according to Plato, which is going to help individuals attain their complete life. Okay, and attaining the complete life means satisfaction of all their needs, material needs, and also uh, the full realization of their potential. At the same time, Aristotle criticized Plato's state as an artificial creation. Okay, yes, this is the actually very important difference. So you have seen that the ideal state of Plato is going to build upon, okay, various mechanisms which he suggests. In that sense, it is artificial. It has to be created by people. Okay, it has to be created. It has certain premises which are to be fulfilled, certain criteria which are to be met, and then that ideal state is going to be created. But for Aristotle, state is not artificial. Okay, state is not an artificial institution. It is a natural organization. Okay, it is a natural organization. It emerges on its own. You will see all that. According to him, state is a result of evolution. Yes, it is a result of evolution. He says that if numerous forms of society before society were natural, so was natural the state as well. Okay, so you understand what he's referring to. Numerous forms of society before society. For example, the first thing that came in that line and in that series of institution was family. But family was not able to fulfill all the needs of people. Then it gave way to the village. Okay, the village gave way to the community of villages. This way, it was realized that neither family nor villages, not community of villages were sufficient. Okay, they were not enough to meet the complete requirements or every requirement, every needs of humans, and that is why they are not going to help them to attain their complete life. It is only with the evolution of a state, or it is only when a state comes into being, individual is able to attain his her complete life. Okay. Secondly, the the series that you see here before state. Okay, so for example, the institution of family, villages, community of villages, all that is actually evolving. Okay, in a pattern. Family is not an artificial creation. Okay, it evolved, and with family afterwards, you see the evolution of villages and then community of villages. And similarly, state will also be the result of the same evolutionary process. In that sense, state is not artificial, it is a result of evolution. And state has a whole history of evolution behind it. Okay. Now, the other fact is that this very evolution process is complete with the formation of a state. Why so? Because with the formation of a state, it is ensured that all the needs of the individuals are going to be fulfilled. Now, individuals are going to attain their complete life. Okay, that is actually the purpose of evolution of different stages of institutions, and that is why evolution is going to be complete here. Okay, with the formation of a state. Now, see that unlike Plato's ideal state, Aristotle's state is not structured or manufactured, not a make, but is a growth. Okay, so Plato's state was a structured. Okay, it was manufactured, as I told you, or it was intended to get manufactured by a series of schemes that he suggests. But Aristotle's state is not a manufactured state. It is a result of evolution, and in that sense, it is a result of growth. Okay, so it comes into being as a process of evolution. In the process of evolution, in that sense, it is a growth and not a structured or manufactured institution, as is the case with Plato's ideal state. According to Aristotle as well as Plato, state symbolizes unity. Both seek to attain unity in the state. Okay, yes. In Plato's theory of justice, this was most evident that Plato actually sought unity in the state. Okay, and you have attempted the question also. If you have actually given full attention to the lectures, then you will realize that Plato sought unity in ideal state, and the in ideal state, justice was the foremost objective, and justice also ensured the unity in the state. Okay, because it was both a private as well as public virtue. And just like Plato sought unity in the state, Aristotle is also trying to bring unity in the state, and through the institution of this very state, that is the association of the association, and which is the result of evolution, and with the formation of a state, that evolutionary process is complete. Okay, but for Aristotle, it is a unity in diversity. Yes, but for Aristotle, this is a unity in diversity. Yes, see, when Aristotle comes with his theory of a state or suggests the institution of a state, then in this very state, the diversity of those institutions are not going to be compromised. Okay, again understand that you just saw the evolution of a state in its uh, evolution of a state, of the whole series of it, and all the institutions that existed and ultimately paved way to the formation or the emergence of a state. Okay, so there was family, and then there was village, and then there were community of villages, and ultimately it is a state. In Plato's scheme, with the establishment of ideal state, institutions like family and all are not going to be important. Okay, if you recall, through communist devices, he is going to do away with the institution of family for guardian class. But when it comes to Aristotle, even with the concluding chapter of that evolutionary process, where a state emerges at last, Aristotle is not suggesting that when that evolutionary process is complete or finally concluded with the emergence of a state, these institutions which existed or which came into being before a state are going to be redundant or meaningless or purposeless. No. So when a state emerges as an evolutionary process, as a growth in Aristotle's scheme, families, villages, community of villages all have their significances as they had when from the time when they emerged. So family is going to be there, villages are going to be there, community of villages are going to be there. All those things are going to be present. That is why a state, although emerges as an ultimate institution, an ultimate association, but it is going to be the association of associations, and the associations which are together making that very state are also going to be significant, are also going to be meaningful even after the formation of a state. In that sense, within a state you will find diversity in Aristotle's scheme, but in Plato's scheme you do not find that. In Plato's scheme, the ideal state is going to overshadow every other institutions that is below it. Okay, so you, that is why you lose the significance of family and villages in Plato's scheme. But in Aristotle's scheme, all those institutions will remain significant. Okay, so family is going to serve the purpose, or will continue serving the purpose for which it came into being at the first place. The final association. I'm sorry. Okay, but for Aristotle, it is a unity in diversity. Okay, for Aristotle, state is the unity in diversity. The state, according to him, is not an association, but an association of associations. Okay, now I think you understand it. Next is state is prior to individual. Now, this is a very important statement coming from Aristotle, and this is going to be slightly complex because what I just explained, uh, that is going to make it complex because there you saw that state emerges in line of that very evolutionary series where you have seen family, villages, community of villages emerging and coming into being before state. Okay, first there was individual, then there was there came family comes into being, then family fulfills the needs of individual or tries to fulfill the needs of individual, but all the needs are not fulfilled. Then villages come, they try to fulfill the needs of the individual, even then all the needs are not fulfilled. Then you have the community of villages, and ultimately it is state. And only after the formation of a state or after the emergence of a state, all the needs of the individuals are going to be fulfilled, and individual is able to attain his complete life. Okay, is able to realize his fullest potential. So that is what this we have in the series. Okay, the evolutionary process, okay, through which a state is emerging. In that sense, each state is going to be the last to emerge. Okay, so first it is individual, then family, then villages, then community of villages, and then state. But this statement, that is why I'm saying that a statement you may find confusing, that here Aristotle is saying that a state is prior to individual. Okay, you just thought that individual was first, then villages, then community of villages, then state. So it is the individual who is first in line of that evolution, and state is the last. But the statement is saying that state is prior to individual. So even when he himself has shown the formation, the evolutionary process of a state in this very manner, even then he is coming out with this very seemingly confusing statement, that is state is prior to individual. Here you need to understand that why he is making this kind of statement. Okay, understand it by paying full attention. It will demand your full attention. Understand it. See the statement here that state is prior to individual. Okay, state is prior to individual. When Aristotle makes this very claim, he is saying that state is prior to individual not chronologically but teleologically. Okay, so if you see the chronology of the events here, state is last to emerge. So if you follow the chronology, it is the individual first, then villages, then community of villages, and then ultimately state. But when Aristotle is making the statement that state is prior to individual, he is not making it by taking into account the chronology of the events. He is making this very statement not taking into account the chronology of the events, but he is making it in teleological sense. Okay, in teleological sense. Okay, he is making in teleological sense means state has a definite purpose. Okay, teleology means object with an objective. So state's objective is complete life of individuals. Okay, complete life of individual. And what is the meaning of complete life here? That all the needs of individual is going to be fulfilled, and individual is going to realize the fullest potential. Okay, now this is the end of the state. This is why the state comes into being. Okay, this is the purpose of state. Now if you adopt the teleological method, then even if individual is the first in the order of chronology or in that chronological order, and state is last, but when individual emerged, okay, in that very time only, the needs, the potential, and everything related to individual is going to emerge. But that very thing is going to be complete only with the formation of a state. In that sense, individuals' requirements are going to be fulfilled, individuals' needs are going to be met only with the formation of a state. And that is why it is being said that state is prior to individual, means even when individual emerges, in teleological sense, state has already emerged, because it is the state who is going to make sure that when individual emerges, all his needs are going to be fulfilled. Okay, getting it? I hope you are getting it. See, I will again repeat this very explanation. When Aristotle comes out with this very proposition that state is not manufactured, it is not artificial, but it is a growth. What he means to say here is that it has emerged or evolved out of a series of events which were there in a definite evolutionary process. In that sense, state is the result of the evolutionary process. Okay. In that sense, again, state is the last to emerge in that very evolutionary process, and with the formation of a state, that evolutionary process is complete, which started with individual, then made the transition to village families, and then villages and community of villages, and then ultimately state. Now, if you see this very evolutionary process, then if you consider the chronological events, state is last. Okay, this is clear. But here, Aristotle is making the statement that state is prior to individual. Okay, so how he seems to be confused, because in the process of evolution, state is the last. Then how is he saying that state is prior to individual? When this particular thing can be explained in this way, that when state is prior to individual according to Aristotle, or when Aristotle says that state is prior to individual, he is not talking about the chronological order of the events. I'm repeating, when Aristotle makes the statement that state is prior to individual, he is not taking into account, or he is not talking about the chronological order of the events. Okay, if you consider the chronological order of state, state is not prior to individual. State is last institution to emerge. Okay, but here it is not about chronological order. Here he is just being teleological in his approach. Here is saying that state's purpose, or the ultimate end of the state, is the complete fulfillment of individual needs. Okay, so in that very sense, when you understand the objective of a state, then in that very sense, state's emergence was uh, ensured. It became definite that a state is going to emerge with the evolution of individual itself, or even before that, because when individual is going to emerge, then he will have certain needs. Then all those needs are not going to be fulfilled by the different institutions that are going to emerge. For example, villages, community of villages, before that family. Okay, that is why it is being said that state is prior to individual in teleological sense, because it is only through state that when individual will come, all his needs, all his wants are going to be met. Okay, so that now you will be able to understand that state is prior to individual in the sense that whole is prior to the part. Okay, now you can understand one thing. You can understand this very proposition by using another analogy. So for example, if you start building the portrait, okay, so for example, sculpture of any human being. So if you start building the sculpture of, say, Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, okay, getting it? So you will start making first the face of Mahatma Gandhi, then you will make his hands, then stomach, then so you will come out with torso and head, okay. Then ultimately the sculpture is going to be complete. Okay, so you consider the final sculpture of Gandhi to be the state, and the torso, the hands, the legs to be the part of the state, the things which came before the final sculpture. Now, don't you think that hand of that very sculpture is not going to have any significance until the whole sculpture is complete? Getting it? That is why I can say that the sculpture of Mahatma Gandhi exists in its teleological sense before you make the torso or the head of that very complete sculpture. Because the torso or the head of that very sculpture is not going to have any significance in themselves before that particular sculpture is complete. Okay, that is what Aristotle is referring to when he says that state is prior to individual. So individual, villages, families, community of villages are not going to be complete, or this very evolutionary process is not going to be complete before the formation of state. Okay, so this, although there is a chronology of events that is present there, but the purpose or the teleological end of the state makes it sure that it is going to emerge in that very evolutionary process in the last to completely ensure that all the needs of the individuals are fulfilled. And that is why in teleological sense it is before individual. Okay, because it is already decided, or it is definite that all the needs of the individuals are going to be fulfilled only with the formation of a state. Okay, Aristotle maintains that state evolves from association like family, village, community, etc., each of which have a different level of self-sufficiency. Okay, self-sufficiency means uh, ultimately the complete self-sufficiency will emerge only with the formation of a state. He further says that he who is unable to live in a society, I'm sorry. Okay, so here you saw that each of which have different levels of self-sufficiency. Now see, the final association that emerges from these very small associations is the state, which ensures complete self-sufficiency and realization of full potential of individuals. Okay, this is something that is easily understandable now. Hence, the state is prior to individual, not chronologically but teleologically. For the same reason that I just discussed, state is prior to individual. It is not to be meant in chronological sense but in teleological sense. Understand this very point again. This very point, please pay full attention here, that the proof that state is the creation of the nature and prior to individual, Aristotle says, individual when isolated is not self-sufficient and therefore he is like a part in the relation to whole. Okay, again recall the example of a sculpture that I used, that when you are trying to come out with the sculpture of Gandhi, the torso in itself or the head in itself is not complete. Okay, that very process is going to be complete only with the final sculpture of Gandhi. And that is why, in some sense, the sculpture is prior to torso or head. Okay, because things are moving in a particular direction. And the ultimate end is actually determined even before the first step was initiated. So ultimate end here is that is the formation of a state is decided or definite. Okay, it is definite even before all the institutions before the state comes into being. Okay, in that sense state is prior to individual. He further says that he who is unable to live in a society or who has no need because he is self-sufficient must either be beast or a god. He is not a part of his state. Yes, here he shows the importance of a state and also highlights or accords the importance to the life in a polis or the political life or the social life. He's also indicating that man is a political animal. Okay, so when he says that man, we are going to deal that very statement separately. But here, what he means to say is that one cannot be called a man if he is self-sufficient. Okay, so man attains self-sufficiency or man attains his complete life only under state, and one who is not under state or does not need state must either be beast or god. He is not a man. Okay, he is not a part of a state. By man here means uh, human being. See, the next, man is a political animal. So what he understands about what he means to convey, or he wants to convey by saying that man is a political animal, this is going to be very important. Again, full attention is required. Understand here what he actually means when he says man is a political animal. This is going to be slightly complex. This is not easy to understand. Please pay full attention. Okay, I'm going to have the last topic here in this very video. So again, suggesting you that please pay full attention while understanding this very topic, this very statement. Man is a political animal. Okay, here Aristotle is saying that I'm sorry. We are political animals because, Aristotle says, that participation in the life of city is necessary for the achievement of human excellence. Achievement of human excellence is actually the complete life. That is the purpose of life, actually, for Aristotle. And we are political animals because it is only through participation of life in the city that we are going to ensure human excellence, that we are going to ensure our complete development. Okay. Okay. Now, in saying that man is a political animal, he is not saying that there is some kind of biologically implemented desire or impulse that makes us political. Very important to understand that Plato is not saying that it is there is some genetic code which is responsible for making us political. It is not any particular gene in our body. It is not any particular genetic makeup or biological makeup which is responsible for making us political. It is not about the very anatomy or the genetic makeup of the body which is making us political. No, it is not residing inside the cell here. Okay, the factor, the determining factor, the decisive factor is not to be found inside our body. Okay, then what else makes us political? Understand again. Man is political because he is possessed with the power of his speech. Power of his speech. Speech. Understand? Speech. Hmm? Logos. In Greek, it was called logos. So we have this very power of speech. By power of speech means we have this very ability to convey our convictions, our thoughts, our emotions through language. That is what he means by speech. So the exact term here is logos. Okay, that was the term that was used by him. The power of speech, that is logos, the ability to convey our thoughts, our emotions, our convictions in language. So you know that man is the only animal, only uh, being who has this very logos, the power of his speech. It is reason and speech and not instinct that makes us political. Okay, so reason, the thinking ability, and speech, that is logos, which is making us political. Okay, be with me. This is not over yet. Okay, it will require a lot of explanation and understanding. So again, you can just have a recap of this very concept here, that when Plato is saying, I'm sorry, when Aristotle is saying that man is political animal, he is not saying that there is any biologically implanted desire in us to become political. Okay, first thing to learn that it is not a biological makeup which is making us political. It is not any particular gene which is making us political. It is the power of speech and reason. It is actually the language that humans are capable of, and reason. Okay, that is making us political. That is making us, because if it would have been about biologically implanted desire, if it would have been about any genetic makeup making us political, then that would have been the instinct. Okay, man does not have the instinct to become political. It is not the instinct which is making us political. It is not any gene which is responsible for making us political. It is reason and power of speech. Now, how that very thing is possible and why this power of speech along with reason is making us political, that is something to be understood now. Okay, connection between logos and politics. Logos again, the speech only. Okay, the language. Aristotle does not say that logos causes us to be political. Rather, he's saying that logos entails political. Very important statement. Now, this very power of speech, which according to Aristotle is responsible for making us political. Okay, along with reason. Understand? When Aristotle says that logos makes us political, he is not saying that there is any causal relationship or cause and effect relationship that exists between having the power of speech, that is logos, and becoming political. He is not saying that logos is causing us to be political. No, there is no causal relationship here. There is no cause and effect relationship here. He is not saying that it is because the power of exist that we have, we that causes us to be political. No, there is no causal relationship. Okay, logos is not the cause of us becoming political. Understand one thing. What he is saying that whenever logos is present, then it entails political. Okay, so man becomes political, or man as a political animal. This very statement or this very proposition is entailed by the fact that man has power of speech. Okay, so logos is not causing us to be political. Logos quality is such that it entails political. So if if it is to be found in any other existing or any other being, then logos will make sure, or logos will simply just entail political. Okay, now why logos entails political, that is the reason here. Power to know and recognize the members of same polis, this is what logos entails. Because of this very speech, a power of speech and reason, we have this very power. There is power to know and recognize the members of same polis. This is something we can do only because we have speech. Okay, now we those beings who do not have speech cannot have this very power to the extent that humans are capable of. So other existing beings, for example birds, animals, okay, other animals in the forest also recognize the member of their community, but their association, their recognition with the member of the same community is not as strong as is the case with humans. Okay, Aristotle is saying that this is because of the power of speech that humans have. Okay, it is above all the speech in a way that links to others of our kind. Yes, it is in a way speech, and by speech here he does not just mean about the language or the words that we utter. It is also about the emotions and everything. Okay, see, it is above all speech in a way that links to others of our kind, and that we share not just the capacity for language, but we also share a certain common language. Okay, so it is not just about the language or capacity of language, but it is also about the common language that we share as humans. Okay, what are those common languages? It is the affection, it is love. Okay, so when someone truly loves us or when someone truly hates us, we know it. Okay, we know it the moment when someone starts feeling disgust. Okay, so that kind of language is present in humans. That kind of ability to comprehend this kind of language is present in humans. It is also because, as Aristotle says further, that logos also entails power of love and affection. We love those with whom we are most intimately related. It is coming from the same premise, and who are most immediately visible or present to us. Okay, so this is something that is going to make humans political. Okay, when we start sharing the bond with others, when we start sharing the emotions with each other. So that kind of thing is going to make us political. And by political, Aristotle means that this is the kind of bond that we start sharing with others. Okay, that is why we start a city life. We start life in cities. We start life of associations. We start a life where all our needs are going to be fulfilled by by cooperating with each other, by uh, coming out with cooperative ventures. Okay, so that is what we mean, what he means when he says man is a political animal. Now, if this kind of thing is not uh, true in case of an individual, then it is easy to understand Aristotle that that individual must be either beast or God. Okay, so that is what he means when he says that man is a political animal. It is not out of any biological implanted desire, but it is because of the power of logos, that is speech. Okay, power of speech, that is logos and reason. Okay, so this was all about this very video. I will continue my discussion on Aristotle. Thank you. If you like the video, you can subscribe, and if you go with any kind of subscription, you apply this very code to avail 10% discount. Thank you.